This video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all.
Right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and if you know, you know, right? We are knocking on the door of a confirmed new daily cycle for Bitcoin, right as a lot of people have given up hope. So it's always a good backdrop for the Camel Crew when many people are running out of patience and we get to just kind of sit back and let the market do what it's going to do, knowing we've got that edge. Today, I want to kind of run through a little bit of sentiment, a little bit of big picture for Bitcoin, and then of course we'll hop into the charts and check to see what's going on. I don't think there's a great deal of actual work to do today, so we're going to continue with this theme of kind of sitting back and let the price action develop. And I'm also recording a collab with Big Mike this afternoon, so that will be available for you guys tomorrow morning, so be sure to check that out. Just before we get into today's episode, if you haven't left a Trustpilot review for the indicator, please go ahead and do so. So far, everyone that has left a review has rated this thing 5-star because the product does what it says on the tin. There's a real team behind that. You really do get what we say you're going to get. So if you haven't helped us out, please go and do that. Now let's dive into today's episode. Okay, I don't know if it's just me that's getting triggered by this. I can see in the comments it's not just me actually. But we've really got to stop being slaves to the tape here as a community, right? We've really got to stop putting up with BS like this. Okay. I almost spat my coffee out this morning when I read this, right? Nvidia is down 0.6% overnight. I mean, sometimes the memes write themselves, right? As I said, I want to talk a little bit about sentiment for a few tabs here. I noticed a bunch of these types of comments in my comment section of late. Okay, 2 weeks ago they weren't there at all. 2 weeks ago, remember, whilst the price of Bitcoin was trading above 120k, most of the content I was making was me saying, look around and see how many people have abandoned ship on the 4-year cycle, right? Remember, just 2 weeks ago it was, there are no more 4-year cycles, there are no more bear markets, right? And then 2 weeks later we've moved to pretty happy sitting in 100x short, and we're never going above 120k again for years. Absolutely wild how sentiment swings on a dime in this space. And I don't know about you, but I have also noticed that all of the accounts that were calling for 100, 200, 300k in the 2021 cycle are now trying to say the top is in, and we've got a repeat of that double top distribution that we saw in 2021 happening at the hard right edge today. Except very few people are pointing out, under the hood, the current setup looks nothing like 2021. Now, I know it's very easy to grab a fractal from here, for example, okay, and say, well, doesn't it look like we're doing something like this? Yeah, sure, it does, okay? Objectively speaking, yes, that's exactly what it looks like from a price action perspective. But remember what we saw into the top back here, okay? Pretty much every single possible metric to call a top, all of the on-chain ones, all of the things like the pi cycle top and a whole heap of other top signals, every single one of them fired here. Okay, and then as Bitcoin's price made a marginally higher high the second time, we saw all of those top calling indicators, all of the on-chain metrics, everything make divergent lower lows as the price made divergent highs, okay, which confirmed there was no underlying momentum in the second pump to the top. Also, what happened back there was right as we got to this neighborhood right here, okay, we got a hard Fed pivot, moved from easing to quantitative tightening, and we entered a bear market. Now, at the hard right edge, okay, yes, again, we can copy and paste this fractal, and bears always sound smart, right? We can go, well, isn't it exactly the same thing happening here? Except absolutely none of the same top calling signals or on-chain metrics have fired top signals here. None whatsoever, okay? There's also no divergence between this high and this high currently. I know there's always some people that point at the RSI divergence and stuff on the monthly time frame or the 3-month time frame, but this asset is too volatile for those to really mean anything, right? It's just far too volatile for you to use 3-month RSI data, okay? It's just too slow, it's too far behind the volatility of this asset, and there's no real confirmed pivot in place yet to go ahead and say that that divergence isn't just resetting before the next leg to the upside. But in terms of under the hood, right, all of the on-chain metrics, all of that kind of thing, it looks absolutely nothing like this. And again, all of the people that were back here calling for way higher numbers are now trying to say that the top is in. And I maintain they probably just got PTSD, right? They got so badly burned calling for this last time that now they're afraid to call for this the second time. But remember, there is no pivot to QT about to occur here. This entire run has happened on QT, has happened on overly restricted rates, right? It's absolutely nothing similar to back here at all. And so I continue to sit here and say the people that say 100 to 200k this year is impossible, I think don't know what they're talking about, okay? It's a market, anything and everything is on the table all the time, and I really don't think another double from here is beyond the realm of Bitcoin's capability. Although, if you disagree with that, that makes sense, because most people are part of the herd, most people are part of the crowd, and the crowd right now is back to fear. People are fearful, they're really scared, and you can see that manifesting in the fear and greed index. Also, again, I know it's easy for me to laugh because I've been doing this for so long, right? Practically my whole adult life. But I'm laughing here because I'm seeing people getting scared, and this is nothing but a powerful uptrend to higher highs and higher lows, right? Only inexperienced people are looking at this and saying, well, this is time to be panicking, right? This is time to start calling tops, you know? But I mean, this is a clear and obvious uptrend. It's certainly not overheated. It hasn't been overheated yet, okay? When you start to go near vertical, like back here, okay, and then you start to see trendline breakdowns, then we can say, okay, right, we've been near vertical, that's clearly not sustainable. Even on this kind of angle from here, it was like, well, we've completed all of the time of the 4-year cycle, we're breaking down, we've got a pivot to QT, all of that stuff, right? All of the on-chain top signals that fired here had divergent lower lows as we made higher highs in price here, right? This was a very obvious top call setup. But here, none of that is true, right? And again, it's just inexperience, right? Inexperience makes people want to jump up and down and get all upset about this. But you've got to have some cojones to stay on trend for a 70-volt asset, right? Where are your cojones? FOMO finder's imbalanced, right? So if you're scared right now, I don't know what to tell you. And when we come back here, okay, it looks like we are right in the middle of another one of these flushes, but look what happened every other time we made one of these flushes, okay? And also note how every single one of these lows is a higher low, followed by a higher high, okay? So I don't think you should be betting against this trend just yet. Meanwhile, things like the short-term holder MVRV Bollingers, okay, are showing that we are at oversold levels where we should expect to see a nice brisk reversal here. The last time we saw an oversold reading like this was the tariff tantrum, which again was a weekly cycle low that yielded a big pump to the upside. And the time before that was the yen carry trade unwind, which yielded over a double off the lows, didn't it? So I say, don't discount one final rally from here. And in case you're saying, well, Camel, that's only 3 data points, yada, 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 here's a bunch more than 3 for the exact same metric, okay? It usually leads to a minimum of a decent relief rally out of these lows, and in the best case scenario, it leads to significantly higher prices followed by a higher low. And again, fitting in with this theme of actually nothing is that different this time around. As Christian shows here, okay, we make it into the 1.4 fib, we pull back to the 1.27, right into that September timeframe, and then we blast higher, okay? Same deal here, and then we blast higher, and that's exactly what we done. We stopped at the 1.4, pulled back to the 1.27, almost completed this into the daily cycle low, which I'll show you in a minute, and all that's left now is that final leg to the upside, okay? Right when most people have started to entertain that being 100x short in a clearly established uptrend of higher highs and higher lows, and we're never going above 120k again, is the correct posture. And just so you know, I'm not picking on this guy. This is not the first time I have picked on people for their sentiment, okay? Sentiment reading is one of the things I do the best. Here I was in March, okay, with people calling for 16k, and I said, no way the top is in just yet. And again, people that were here for the last weekly cycle low will know I was going live during that weekly cycle low and begging people not to quit just yet because the sentiment was destroyed and it did not match, and therefore we knew with a high degree of confidence we were most probably going to have another leg higher. And again, look at the timeline, okay? March 13th, right before we made the major lows in Bitcoin, right in this kind of neighborhood here where my cursor is, before we had that final weekly cycle low and a big push to the upside, I was again pointing at people in their silly comments, okay, and their lack of experience. And again, it's not to pick on these people, okay, but this guy sold all of his Bitcoin, okay, and went short Bitcoin and QQQ because according to him, the cycles had failed. Again, we're not picking on these people. It's just that these people aren't experienced in markets. They have not been doing this as long as I have. They haven't dedicated the amount of time, blood, sweat, and tears to the markets as I have. And therefore, when I see things like this, it's much easier for me to say, this guy's on the wrong side of the trade. And so that's exactly what I'm maintaining is going on here, okay? Everything looks primed for one final leg to the upside, and suddenly an awful lot of people have gotten extremely loud in the comment section in the past couple of days, which to me is great news, right? That's what I do best. I love to look at these comments and start to roll my eyes so that I can come on here and make a video and point at these comments and let you guys know, okay, that I am now extremely confident there is another leg higher. And the reason I'm extremely confident is because all of a sudden we went from 2 weeks ago, there's no more 4-year cycles, and me making daily content saying, what the heck is wrong with people? Why we abandoning the 4-year cycle to just 2 weeks later, now I'm making content saying, what the heck is wrong with you? Why have you all gotten super bearish when this is the current look of the Bitcoin chart, right? So this is good news. This is good news, okay? I am extremely bullish, and a lot of people apparently are not. And that's just the way I like it. Also, we're officially in September, okay? And what do we know about September? This is the only one where we printed a September low that yielded a lower low thereafter. Every other one of these September bottoms yielded massive upside for the price of Bitcoin, and we just so happen to be in the middle of forming a September bottom. Right into, of course, a potential daily cycle low here. This is my preferred count. There's a lot of disagreement amongst the cycle traders. Pretty much all of us have different counts at the moment, but this is currently my favorite. As I've been talking about, we are dangerously close, aren't we? We've got the trend line break. We are now looking for a close above the 10-period MA. We're looking for this Brexit cross to confirm a move to the upside. And we're also looking for the camel indicator to suggest there's enough low here to pick a tradable low that we can structure a trade around as always. And then that's all I need to see. That is all I need to see to say, okay, this is a new cycle. We're probably doing this. Okay. And if I'm wrong, and there's a couple other people, I think Surf City and Bob Lucas both have this as their count. They are moving this current low from here to here. Okay, they're running with a longer count followed by a shorter count, looking for a longer count where my blue weekly cycle arrow is, somewhere in this neighborhood. Okay, so in the worst case scenario, we'll probably get a half cycle low bounce here, a rollover, a tradable low here, and then it's go time. And in the best case scenario, and I'm standing with this count for now at least, we're about to leave behind all of the haters, all of the doubters, all of the negative sentiment, and just come swinging out of here. So either way, okay, we're pretty much there. We just got to let the market do what the market's going to do. Let the cycle have enough space to paint some candles on the chart before making any judgments, and then we should be ready to see that final leg up to, hopefully, that 200k plus region, where, note, currently, many people think that is absolutely ludicrous to call for. The stock market's setting up for a nice big sell day today, I think, and that makes a lot of sense because we know we're heading for a daily cycle low. We know we'll use that low to encompass with our new trend line, and we also know we'll probably be adding out of there in the level 3 members section. So again, no changes, right? What about gold? Well, gold has been behaving exactly as expected, right? This is probably the top for this current daily cycle. We get that pullback into the daily cycle low window. The Camel Crew again will add there, and we'll be ready for the final move to the upside. Notice how silver probably going to do a very similar thing here. Okay, pull back into a daily cycle low and then start to blast higher. And of course, we'll continue to catch this move by all of the high beta plays and the miners and that kind of thing. So that's it from me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Big Mike collab tomorrow. And until next time, all the best from me. Cheers. Bye.
Camel Finance, he's the man to see. Rocking the markets with his contrarian spree. Trades like a pro, no fear, no shame. Sticking to his guns in